Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, NXT will have a 2 week show featuring, of course, known as Gold Rush, featuring, of course, talent not only from NXT, but talent from AAA, Evolve, and TNA. So basically, you have like, how do you say, the best in all worlds in one show. So basically, we have some special matches and including title matches. So we're just going to focus on this event particular because apparently I didn't have enough time to do any other reviews other than this one. But that's how we're going to stick it up. And then, of course, we wrap up our episode as usual with some news updates. They give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information has been unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, it's time to put up and shut up, and of course, begin the day. So as I said earlier, it's only a one review episode only. So let's start with NXT Gold Rush. Okay, guys, we just begun week one of Gold Rush at Madison Square Garden. Of course, many of you know that WWE has done many events over the years there, of course, but not their bigger events, in case anybody asks. And, of course, we are featuring talent coming from other promotions, not only with NXT, but also from Evolve, TNA, and, of course, AAA. Now, our first match is part of the AAA Mixed Tag Team belts. Now, for those who are not familiarized with these titles are tag teams for both a man and a woman, a male and female tag team. And of course, the rules always apply where the male face only the male and the female faces the female. And the current champions are, of course, Chelsea Green and Ethan Page. And Joe Hendry and Thea Hale issued the challenge. But the real question is, can they pull it off? We have been seeing how they've been very, very cohesion, both Chelsea and Ethan. But Joe Hendry and Thea Hale have been very, very close getting to know each other. And not to mention uh, Joe Hendry showing her that people should get behind her and believe, because, of course, we all believe in Thea Hale all this time. But of course, we always have to be careful when it comes to Chelsea and Ethan. They like to play dirty tricks. There was a moment where we thought that, of course, Hale could have picked up the win, but nope. It was Chelsea Green that applied the unprettier. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Chelsea Green and Ethan Page retained the titles. Now, Lola Vice, as you know, was watching this. She actually lost the opportunity to become a mixed tag team champion with Mr. Iguana, and she has to watch this on the sideline. And of course, Jordan Grace tried to, give her some advice about certain things until they were rudely interrupted by Kalani Jordan, someone who they can't stand in the moment, of course, the current TNA Knockouts World Champion. But we'll see her date because, as you all know, she'll be defending her championship in the three-way very soon. So I think we'll see that in week 2. Now, we did see an interview with Tavion Heights, as you probably can guess. However, at some point, he was brutally attacked by Josh Briggs. Remember, not too long ago, Tavion Heights defeated Josh Briggs, and of course, Josh Briggs, being a loser, of course, can't stand the fact that he lost to someone to Tavion Heights. And they kept on going and going at some point until finally, maybe near the end, of course, Josh Briggs put Tavion Heights through a table. So we will see a bit of a rubber match between those two at some point. So stay tuned for that. Now, our next match is for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Blake Monroe defends it against the person who never lost it, and that is Sol Ruca. Now, remember, folks, Sol Ruca was injured, and because of this, she was unable to compete it, and of course, Zarya decided to step up as the interim or of some sort. I don't know. But yes, and of course, lost the title to Blake Monroe. Now, the real question is, will Saruka be able to do so, or will Blake Monroe finally beat the person who she never beaten for the belt for in to begin with? And that's exactly what was happening. But however, as you all know, that every time when we see someone injured, sometimes that injury becomes a weak point for someone to exploit. And that's exactly what Blake Monroe did. But however, Zarya did the unthinkable. She decided to throw in the towel, which was really messed up. And of course, Blake Monroe retained the title. But later on, we did see how Soroka did not like the idea how what Zarya did. But Zarya was afraid that she was going to damage her knee even worse. But I don't know if their friendship will dissolve at some point. I mean, some people are probably expecting it. But you guys tell me, are Zarya and Zoruka's friendship will dissolve at some point? Well, we'll see. Now, Ricky Saints, as you know, our current NXT champion, tries to make his way to the ring to do a promo. However, the former champion and the ruler, of course, Obafemi, makes his way. So basically, as you know, Obafemi was very offended about how people saying that the match between Ricky Saints and Trick Williams was the better match, but Obafemi found it offensive. And of course, Trick Williams was intending to weasel his way back into the fray on this until he was brutally attacked from behind with the chair by Miles Bourne. Now remember, folks, Miles Bourne was attacked by Trick Williams not too long ago, but Miles Bourne wanted a little measure of payback, and that's how exactly it's going to happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a match for the NXT Championship at Deadline, of course, taking place soon. But stay tuned for that. Now, of course, after the whole thing, our general manager Ava had a little chit chat with, of course, with Miles Bourne. But Miles Bourne told, look, you told me not to interfere in the match, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't do that. So basically, he found a loophole that made perfect sense. I mean, no one said anything that he cannot attack him after the match, but, and he did. So basically, we'll see that at some point. Now, our next match is the NXT Tag Team Belts. We have, of course, Leon Slater and Javon Evans, of course, two young, talented individuals willing to take it up to the next level to become the NXT champions, taking on Dark State. Now, of course, Dark State, you all know that they tried to take the numbers advantage, and they almost tried. And of course, you would have assumed at some point that Javon Evans and Leon Slater could have won if it wasn't for that miscommunication that took place between both men. But unfortunately, Leon Slater suffered the wrath of the Dark State with the Doomsday device, a move many of you know is a move that was done by the infamous Legion of Doom, or the Road Warriors. So that ended up right there, and Dark State retained the championship, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, we did see Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair talking. Now, apparently, Ren Sinclair will be Kendall Gray will be defending the Evolve Women's Championship, of course, and we'll be seeing what's going to happen from there. Now, our main event is the NXT Women's Championship. Daisy Jane, as you know, issued her rematch clause against Tatum Paxley, and that's exactly what happened. However, of course, we did see the Fatal Influence again try to interfere. Izzy Dame tried everything in her power to stop them, which she did. But however, the one thing that was very crazy is that the calling turned their backs on Tatum Paxley, giving time, of course, for Izzy Dame to give her the kick in the face, and then, of course, Daisy Jane applying the rolling encore. So we don't know what's going to happen. But I did hear from afterwards, some people were not satisfied with the idea. I mean, this is the short range for Tatum Paxley to have the title passed on to her. I mean, we could have given her for a couple of months, but who knows what the real reasons was. But sooner or later, things will have to change. So we'll see what happens next week. But right now, we are officially done with NXT Gold Rush. Let's move on with, of course, with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin, as always, with upcoming events. We have GCW, of course, with upcoming events on their part. On the 22nd of November, which is coming up soon, we have the Dream On event, and it was announced that Charles Mason will be facing off at the Giskoger. However, the winner of this match will face, of course, Effie for the GCW World Title. Now, I'm sure these two men will do whatever it takes to kill each other to get a shot of that belt. And that is something that's been made perfectly clear. Now, the other show they have, of course, is in December in Seattle. Say You Will. Jack Evans will take on Jack Carwheel. So that's going to be a very interesting, the Battle of the Jacks. Now, as you know, House of Glory will be making their presence back again in the Windy City. It was announced that the world title will be defended. The current champion, Charles Mason, will defend it against Cedric Alexander. And then finally, of course, the December show by West Coast Pro on the 9th of December. It was announced that the Golden State Championship will be defended. Andrew Cass will defend it against Jules Raphael. Don't know who he is. Now on to developments. Now we have two congratulations we want to give out. The first one, of course, is to Indi Hartwell. Many of you may know or not, she is currently engaged to her partner, named Lizette. Yes, folks, you probably can guess that too. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm happy for her. And of course, the other congratulations, we want to give congratulations on to Lanie Luck for winning the WWE ID Women's Championship. Now, remember, folks, this title was in fact vacant not too long ago, and they decided to do a scramble match in order to do so. And Lanie Luck, of course, won, and she'll get a WWE contract. So we may see her on Evolve soon or so. So stay tuned for that. Now, there's been some very interesting interviews on certain subjects by Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. As you all know, Ricky the Dragon was at Blood and Guts, of course, and he gave a bit of his take on certain things on the bill at per what he said. Now, the first one he talked about is the first class operations to see how Tony Khan does for his talent. And this is what he said. First class operation. I think I know Tony Khan does a lot for the boys. When I first talked to Tony a few years back, he said that he wanted to do wrestlers like the way his dad does with football players. And that does the kind of retirement plans or hospitalization coverage and stuff like that. Just talk to a few guys of the wrestlers backstage, and they say, yeah, he takes care of us. It's real good. Yeah, so people, you can say what you want about, AEW. But let me tell you this, when it comes to Tony Khan, he makes sure that people are well taken care of. Now, many of you guys don't know this, if you guys remember, Not too long, maybe a year or two ago, Roosh was almost on the verge of leaving AEW, but not because he wanted to. His contract was expiring. However, he made the decision to resign, not because he owes a lot to Tony Khan. Let's just say that Roosh said that he never had a boss who calls him up and asks him how his family's been doing. For many of you that know this, Roosh took some time off to be with his wife, and of course his wife was giving birth to their second child, and of course um, Tony Khan didn't bother asking him, when you're coming back. He just wanted to check up on him, how his wife is doing, how his newborn was doing. And of course Rush said that he was felt very touched by Tony for checking up on him, checking up on his family, and that's something that you don't see every day. I mean, you got to ask yourself, when was the last time you ever heard Vince McMahon or anybody in WWE calling for any of their talent who are having their spouses, giving their talent, like they're giving birth and all that stuff. When was the last time you heard something like that? But yeah, so I think Ricky Steamboat is seeing, yeah, that Tony Khan really takes good care of his talent, and that's something that people should need to understand. Because here's the thing: WWE is not the one covering their injuries, that's themselves, and that's one of the things that sucks. Now, he did also stated that he didn't catch the women's blood and guts match, which was something he was not too fond of. And this is what he said: "God bless for those girls that was in the match. I didn't care for it, but I don't know what it. I don't know if it was too much. I thought personally, I don't know if they were that had 16 girls and something like that. There's just too much going on uh, uh over in the one corner, two girls doing something, two or three girls doing something in the middle. Then you go to the ring and two or three girls out doing something. You couldn't focus on anything because there was so much going on, and for a time, it's hard to react. So yeah, I get it, man. I mean, it's not your standard tag team match. I mean, not to blame him, but yes, he basically saw that was too much. I mean, how can you follow? I mean, there's something going on here, something going on there. I'm sure many of you guys had that. Now, Kyle Fletcher just recently talked to TMZ Inside Ring. Apparently, he responded to Stevie Richards saying that Logan Paul is better than everybody on AEW. Now, I know some people would say F Stevie Richards, and I get it. And, Kyle Fletcher's response was this: I think I said the same thing with his comments on me. I think of those things are done with thought process. Oh, this will get to react. Oh, this will get click. I don't know if he believes that the wholeheartedly. If he does, I like to say everybody is entitled to their own opinions, but I think that opinion is bullshit, personally. I agree with him. Some people like to say certain things. I think the roster we have in AEW, um, matches that you see weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis, I am astounded. Like, I can't even keep up, and I have watched one match that I go, that's the best match I've seen this year, and the next week I see another match that I think is the best match this year. It's an absolute absurd claim to make. Not a hate on Logan Paul, doing great stuff. Good for you. He's been in the business for 5 years, if that. So the level that he is performing is insane. Don't think he's better than Kenny, Will Ospreay, not a effing chance. Yeah. So the problem is this. Kyle Fletcher's opinion is that, he thinks that Stevie Richards says stupid stuff. I know people say the same thing too about others about AEW, how they think, and Kyle Fletcher's defending it. And not to mention, he said that he does respect Logan Paul. I mean, he does see how talented he is, but he doesn't believe that he is in the same level as Kenny or Will Ospreay or anybody in AEW, because he thinks that, he doesn't know exactly what talent looks like in his own opinion. He just jumping into the wolves, that sort of thing. So that's pretty much what we do know. But if there's anything else about this, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, let's call it a day. Okay, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Sorry that I had to keep this only a one review episode, and of course throw in some news updates. Now, for our next episode, you probably know we have AEW Dynamite. This is their go home show, and I believe it's also going to be a 3 hour show. There is no collision taking place for this Saturday. This Saturday is, of course, Full Gear, and it's going to be a blast. Trust me, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun blasts as we speak on this one. So we may focus on that mostly, but we'll see. I do know there is a New Japan show that is, in fact, basically produced by Evil. It's like more of a House of Torture show because Evil runs the whole thing for this entire night. So we'll see how things will go from there. But if there's any other reviews, I'll let you guys know. I'm definitely trying to keep up with certain ones that I definitely want to do, but stay tuned. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.